Welcome to the New Author Podcast, a weekly podcast diary starring Jerry Evanoff and Rich Casey.
What the hell's going
Join
on
them
here?
weekly as they talk about writing.
Okay, that's good enough. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the. I don't know what happened there. I mean, I just did it for us before we started, and it worked just fine. So I don't know what's going on there. That's really strange. Let me do that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New Author Podcast. My name is Jerry Evanoff. I'm one of the hosts of this podcast. Today is Monday, October 13th, 2025. This is episode number 331. And joining me as he does each week is Rich Casey. And Rich, before we start,
okay,
I'm going to throw a little word of warning out there. I'm going to be a little whiny tonight. I've been whiny all day. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning as she drove into work, and about 10 seconds into it, I said, geez, I am whiny today. And it's carried over all day. So I'm going to spend some time, Rich. You're almost going to be like a therapist, because I'm going to spend some time discussing my needs.
Well,
and on any other podcast that might be creepy, but it's a writing podcast. So we're okay. We're going to talk about my needs today. Okay?
well, it can't be because of the Browns, because you should be used to that by now. So it's got to be something else.
That plays into it. That was like another thing on top of the whininess weekend that I had. So yeah. So and let me just say, joining me is Rich Casey. Rich, how are you?
I'm doing fine. And it's a good thing, with that lack of the intro music, it's a good thing you don't work in computers, because otherwise that'd be kind of embarrassing.
Thank God. Oh, thank God. Thank God I'm not IT for the last,
That's right.
I don't know, 29 years professionally. Whatever. Who cares? It happens. Okay. All right. So let me. Well, before you, any small talk? You got anything you want to talk about real quick?
No, not really. I want to talk about my 5 days, because they were pretty good 5 days. So.
Yay. That's exciting. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so let me jump into my stats first then, because mine is, I did stuff. It's not as exciting. My goal for the week was to just keep editing. I didn't make like a really specific type of goal. Next week I will today I will make a concrete goal for myself for next week. But last week was just to keep going, and I did. And book 2 is actually down, Rich, down 2,208 words to 83,310. I don't know how I subtracted 2,200 words, but I did.
But you'll make C proud of you.
Oh, I hope she's listening. She'll smile as she's listening to this.
Yeah.
I did split a long chapter into 2, so now I'm at 41 chapters, and I am currently in the middle. I'm actually a third of the way through chapter 14, so I'm about 33% of the way through it. I still have 8 weeks left before I have to turn this thing in, and in 2 weeks I was 33% of the way through it. So I'm speeding through this thing. This is the one that I think I said last week. This is the one that I already did a second and third revision on. So most of this is just changing some words here and there. I am changing a few small plot things with some of my characters, but that's kind of where we are with this. So I'm very excited about this. My word count for the year is still 158,423. No changes there. And my words per hour is still 1,290 because I didn't do anything new. So that's where I'm at.
Not bad. I've got nothing to report in terms of the new word count. I'm still at 38,940 on the Cozy Mystery 2 and at 171,902 words on the yearly goal, marching towards 200,000. But what I did do is I did the significant amount of work during these last 5 days on the outline for my novel November story. I've been going through the Snowflake process, and I'm kind of at the point where I have detailed character sheets for all 5 of the main characters. I've got 45 scene summaries, which will probably correspond to roughly 45 chapters, although some of those scenes might appear in just one chapter. Double up on what scenes are in a chapter. And I also really refined the log line. I know last week I kind of rambled about what the story was about, but I really sat down and I thought about what it was going to be. And this is my current log line right now. It'll probably stay pretty similar to this, even as I write through the novel. A detective investigating the murders of anti-fascist activists faces an ethical crisis when her son appears to be connected to the crimes, unaware that a trusted colleague orchestrated both the murders and her son's radicalization. So,
all right.
I don't know how that strikes you, but
yeah,
it makes me
sounds
excited.
Like what genre are you going for?
This will be like a mystery suspense thriller / I was
going to say, it sounds there's a lot of suspense thriller in there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that log line for now. We'll see. Usually what I do after the book is completely done, then I go back and rewrite the log line, because it oftentimes changes a little bit. But
right,
yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good for now.
I got to write down logline because it's going to correspond to something I'll talk about later.
Okay.
I got to write it down so I can actually read it, though. There we go. It's a hard word. It's a weird word to write. Anyway, all right, so let's go back into my week. Again, we podcasted last Wednesday night, so we've really just got 5 days to go through here instead of 7. So I'll start with Thursday. Thursday, I was in the office at work. I worked all day. At lunch, I did continue editing book 2, got through chapter 6, and got into chapter 7. And then Thursday night, I did not go to my writer's club. Oh. And I'll talk about that later. We'll have a nice conversation. That's going to get into the whining a little bit. We'll talk about that. Friday, I was up early to work from home. And then right at 11 a.m., I was off to Buffalo Wild Wings. While I was there, I finished chapter 7 and then started chapter 8. I divided 8 into two chapters or 2 scenes. I called it 8 and 8.5 for now because that's what I do. And then I'll fix all that once I start formatting. It'll become 8.5, become 9, 9 to 10, and all that stuff. And then I moved on to, so I did 8 and 8.5, then I moved on to 9, and I finished that one. So that was a good day of editing, I believe, like 3.5 chapters. Saturday, up early to golf. This was our cross country that we played in, something that they do at the end of every year. You know, we have a golf tournament, and then we have chili. He makes chili, which is nice. So it's kind of like a fall thing. And the cross country is nothing more than he redesigns the course. So there are 13 holes instead of 18, and you're hitting wacky shots. Like our second hole that we played was from the 10th cart path to the 9th hole, which was 50 yards, but there was a 40-foot tree in front of you. So maybe it was 30 feet. I don't know how tall it was. So I basically got out my wedge, my 48-degree club, laid it flat on the ground, and just took a full swing. The ball went way up in the air, over the tree, and landed right in the middle of the green. It was beautiful. It's one of the best shots I ever hit in my life.
That was one of my son's special shots. He used that flop shot everywhere.
Phil Mickelson flop shot. Yeah. It's great. But then you had a spot on the course where you put it on. If you look on the map, he had a big circle in this one spot, and when he was letting everyone know what was going on, he's kind of standing out on the course. We're all in our carts ready to drive away, and he's yelling out the instructions. And the last thing he said was, "Okay, last thing you guys need to know is that circle on the map is a hot spot. You guys are going to be way closer together than I thought you were going to be. So you need to watch. You need to drive up. If you have a blind shot, please drive up." So I almost got hit. Ball went right over my head. So it was a good day. You know, you ever see those little, small town racetracks where they have the figure 8 and the motor homes, the buses. So that's kind of what we were. There was one hole where you crisscross, where we're going this way and they're going this way. And again, you have to watch because you're going to be hitting at people, and then you're going to get hit at, which was the whole thing. But it was a blast. We played 13 holes. There were only 3 of us. It was a 4-man scramble. There were only 3 of us. So we rotated each shot with whoever got 2 shots. So on the first hole, I would get 2 shots. Then the next hole, Jeff got 2 shots. The next hole, Dave got 2 shots. We just played best ball. It was a blast. We finished -6. So 6 out of we had 7 pars and 6 birdies. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. Then we had some chili, and got home. So
what was the low score?
Oh, I don't know. There's literally no prizes. You don't post your scores. You just go get a bowl of chili, you eat, and you hang out and leave. I don't really know anybody else. We did hear somebody behind us say that they had a -8. Somebody else had a -4. We had a -6. -8's really good. So it was a good time. So then I went home.
-6 is really good.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have any bogeys. I mean, the one guy who we played with, Jeff, he's not the best golfer in the world. You know, I'm a bogey golfer, maybe a little better. Dave is probably a stroke or 2 better than me. And Jeff is probably, if we play 18 holes together, I'm going to beat him by 15 or 16. He was killing the ball. He was hitting such great shots. I mean, he was bailing us out sometimes. Me and Dave would go up as these, pretty good golfers and just shank our shots. And then Jeff would just crush it down the middle of the court. So it really worked out well for us. So then once I got home, I turned around and went to Hothead. And I had a bowl of chili, small bowl, went home, which takes me an hour to get home, drove a half an hour to Hothead. And I didn't really know what to do here because I wanted to go right, but I wasn't like ready for a full meal. So I got a bowl and only ate about half of it, which was fine. It filled me up for the rest of the day.
Sure.
And then I edited chapters 10, 11, and 12. I sat there till about 4:30 getting 10, 11, and 12 done. It's amazing when you do a second and third revision, how that next time you go through it, it's really not that hard.
Yeah.
I'm changing a couple words here and there. I'm obviously deleting some words. And like I said, I'm making a couple little changes here and there to how characters interact with each other more than anything else. Not really changing the plot at all. I'm also keeping track of the police that I introduced because my character Sam is going to be heavily involved with the Savannah Police Department. And I look through this and I'm like, well, I just created a bunch of names here. I really need to they don't have to be like full in-depth characters, but I want to bring them back throughout the series, because if Sam's dealing with the police throughout the series, he's going to inevitably see the same police officers throughout there. So I want to do that.
Yeah, but Dean Wesley Smith has a phrase for that. It's disembodied voices in a white room. So
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, you don't want to give them no description at all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So then I came home and I started working on a secret project. Actually, I started working on this secret project on Thursday, and I worked on it a little bit more Friday evening, and then Saturday evening I worked on it some more. Instead of playing my football game, I worked on this project. So I worked on it for a while. I'll basically spoil what the secret project is at the end of the podcast. For right now, we're just calling it another secret project because I love doing them. I love starting them, and sometimes I even finish them. So,
was it nice and shiny?
Oh, it's rich. It's wonderful. It now, and before we started this podcast, it did not include the word log line, but it now includes the word log line.
Nice,
so this is very exciting. Yeah. All right. So let's see. I watched some college football. I ended up watching Indiana beat Oregon, which was nice. And then I about 9:30, I went to bed, maybe 10 o'clock. I went to bed early. Sunday morning, yesterday, no golf on this day. We're down to just 3 weekends. Weather permitting even. So I'm probably going to try to play the next 3 Saturdays, and they may not even be open the last Saturday because that's into November, and then they're never open into November. So we may only have 2 weekends left, and then it closes. So I went to Panera to do some editing, and I got there about 9:15. There was a 9:30 game that I really, really wanted to watch some of because I have a lot of players in my my big money fantasy leagues, my Vegas fantasy leagues. So I kind of set up my phone kind of like, my phone, I bought a case that has a little leg that comes out.
Oh,
so
nice.
I put the game on, flipped it this way, and I just sat and watched the game while I was editing, which, by the way, watching football while editing, you're not getting a lot done. I learned that the hard way. Makes sense. So I did finish chapter 12, and then I finished that chapter 13, and then I started editing into 14. I got about a third of the way through, and it was just like, I really want to go home and watch this game. It was Broncos-Jets, which, I'll get into Sunday football here in a second. It was Broncos-Jets, and I ended up going home, getting some lunch, and then picking up my dog and coming home and basically putting the book stuff away. I haven't opened it since yesterday morning. I
assume you had a lot of players on the Broncos, not on the Jets.
Yes,
right?
I have Breece Hall, who's on the Jets, but I do have a bunch of players on the Broncos, and they were really good the first couple weeks of the season. Well, last couple weeks, not so much. And then football happened, and it was really, really boring and underwhelming yesterday. I mean, not even the Browns lost. I mean, that was just. I mean, I barely watched it. I think I watched the first half, and then after that, I flipped it onto the smaller TV and just put Red Zone on the big TV and listened to that because I think I just need a new favorite team. I just think I need to be done with the Browns. I'll jump on the bandwagon at some point if they ever get a quarterback or an owner that cares or a head coach that shows emotion or anything that makes me want to watch. But I think I'm looking at the Chargers right now. I'm
thinking, you really probably ought to, pick a team that's got an aging quarterback and that's, kind of close to your hometown and that you might really be able to get behind.
But Josh Allen's not that old. Buffalo. Is that where you're going with? I don't know.
No.
Where you were going. Yeah.
Steelers.
Oh God, no. I thought you were going Detroit there for a minute.
No.
Actually, rooting for them would probably be good for me because then they would start losing.
Well, that could be.
Yeah. And then yesterday was a rough day overall. There were a lot of injuries, a lot of low-scoring games in fantasy football. A lot of players didn't do well. It was really like I just kind of sat around bored all day. I ended up cleaning up my house a little bit. I got groceries. The groceries were delivered. I didn't play my football game. Like I didn't do anything. And then in the evening, I started working on my secret projects some more. And then the 8 o'clock game started, or that's your game there with the Lions, and the Chiefs. I was bored out of my mind because I can't stand Kansas City anyway. Really thought Detroit was going to win that game.
And it was a horrible game. I mean, they played like crap. Both teams really played like crap. But
and that's what happened yesterday in most games. Both teams. I swear, there's no offensive lines in football anymore. Every time I look up, a quarterback's getting sacked. It's horrible. So then I went to bed.
They're either getting sacked or thrown for 40 yards. So it's
right, which is what Josh Allen
defense,
just did.
no offense.
It's just, and you have these weeks every now and then. Luckily, my number one Vegas fantasy team that's in first place by the end of today will still be in first place.
All right.
So we're gonna okay there. A lot of injuries. I didn't lose many players from those teams. I'm still looking good for those teams. So it's okay. but it's just like it was an underwhelming day overall. That's part of why I needed this to happen.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
Well, I agree.
So today, no writing today. I worked on my secret project at lunch. I worked from home. Today's kind of like my writing day off. I worked on my secret project at lunch, and actually I've been working on it for the last hour and a half or so. After I had done working and had some dinner, so we'll talk about it in a little while. But that was pretty much my week. Just a lot of editing. Edited a lot of chapters, more than I actually thought, which is good. It means that I'm not as terrible as a writer as I thought I was. Reading a book that I wrote 2 years ago, I am changing things here and there, words and different ways to describe things that I think sound better and things like that. So, but yeah, that was my week.
Yes, and for a short week, you got a lot done. Last Thursday, it was a very busy day at the library. I had a bunch of people roll through looking for technical help with their computers. Mostly it was a matter of kind of tweaking their settings because they either screwed things up by trying to fumble around with the settings themselves, or they just had never really had it set up correctly the first time. So I did a lot of that. I also showed a couple of people how to use the programs that they needed in order to do the kind of things that they were trying to do. Like one person came in and they got a ton of photographs. They wanted to create photo collages. So I got them up to speed on Canva, showed them how to do that in Canva. Because Canva is now my go-to program for dealing anything with photos at all. But after all that and all that intensity of trying to help people, and some people are pretty antsy when they don't just sit back. They're constantly firing questions and asking questions. And I wish they'd just sit there and just let me do it, but they don't. So I was pretty spent by the time my book club rolled around.
You sound like me in IT.
Yeah. I was pretty spent by the time the book club rolled around at 6 o'clock. So I went in there and I said hello to everybody and everything. By then I just begged off and headed home, which was unfortunate because one of the persons that hadn't quite shown up yet brought snacks. And I would have probably stayed if I knew there were snacks. By the time I get home now, it's starting to get dark, and it's going to be even worse in a few weeks when we switch back to regular time.
November 1st.
Is it the 1st or 2nd? Something like that, yeah.
Whatever that Saturday is, yeah.
Yeah,
Saturday is.
So I'm no longer piddling around in the garden after work, and I probably won't be now after work until springtime. So we had dinner and set up our wingspan game because my wife is now on a kick of having family time in the evening because she did that when she was visiting my son, and she remembered how much she liked it. So we did that. I beat her. And
she still like it?
No, she gets grumpy, but then she wants to play again because she wants to try to beat me again. And then I did a bit of reading before bed. I've started, or actually gone back to, I read this a long time ago, Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. It's a book on writing. And it's pretty good. She's pretty funny, a little bit coarse in her language and stuff. So it's kind of an interesting book. You don't see too many of those from writers anymore. Friday was not as hectic at the library, so I found time to, number one, first learn a little bit more about the Snowflake method and how it was supposed to be used, and then actually put it into practice. So that's when I refined the log line for that November story so that it was actually coherent. And I sketched out a set of main characters and did like a one sheet plot treatment for the whole story. At its core, I think we could say the Snowflake method is really about starting from the general and then kind of building towards the specific, going through repeated steps, sometimes cycling back through the same piece of material that you've already done in order to get some more detail in there, get a little more complexity. So I thought while I was doing it, this is a lot like a Mandelbrot fractal, where no matter how far you zoom in or zoom out, it always looks the same. It's just that there's more detail or less detail. So, anyways, by the end of Friday, I was pretty chuffed that I was able to get something done on this.
Let me ask. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So for the Snowflake method, I always assume, like in my head, you're starting from the middle. And you're working your way out. You start from anywhere and just
no.
How do you start it?
Actually, it's very specific. In some sense, you start from the middle, in the sense that you need to get down encapsulated in one sentence what the story is. So that's the log line. Okay, so that's your middle, that's your core to the story, and then you build out from there. Right. So you've got this core, the log line. Then you got to figure out, okay, this is what my story is I'm going to tell. what kind of main characters do I need in order to tell this story? So then you build a set of main characters. At first, very general. Just, like I need a detective. I need a love interest. That's probably also a detective. I need somebody on the force that's going to be the villain behind the scenes. I need a son that this detective of mine is going to find out is involved in these murders and stuff. And then I thought while I was doing this, and it came to me that, well, we need to have some reason why this detective is kind of somewhat estranged from her son, isn't very close to him, doesn't know what he's been doing really online. And I came up with the idea, okay, she's divorced and her husband's still around. He's trailer trash and he's in the next town over, and her son's really getting a lot of this from her ex-husband.
Right.
So you can just kind of build it out like that. And at first you don't put very much detail at all about the character. And then next step, what you do is you look back at that log line and say, okay, let's do a 1-page plot treatment of what this story is. And you just do 1-page stream of consciousness, beginning to end of the story. And you just kind of keep building it out. And then you go back to the characters, you flesh them out. Then you go back to the plot, you flesh it out more. And you just kind of go back and forth. So it's just kind of building as you go out. So anyways, after that, I was happy. The day went well. After dinner, when I got home, we played Wingspan, and I kind of hit the sack early. Both of us have been getting really tired in the evening. I think it's probably because of the changing light situation outside. And it's getting dark early, it's getting light later, and it's just, I just feel like eating fat food and hibernating. Is what it boils down to. As you'll see later when we get to my current addiction.
Okay. Oh God.
Yeah.
Your addictions always sound fantastic.
Saturday was a mixed day at the library. We're down a person for the foreseeable future because my supervisor retired, and her last day was October 9th. But we do have a new moonlighter that they hired to help us out in the evenings and the weekends, and she needs to be trained. Generally, the supervisor would be the one that would train a new person, but instead, it's been left to us. So I sat with her for the full 3 or 4 hours that she was there and did her best to indoctrinate her on the Casey way, which is basically involves not taking anything seriously, and realizing that no matter how much you screw something up at the library, nobody's going to die because of it. So just be, take it easy and have fun. And that's kind of what we did for the time that she was there. It did get really quiet later in the afternoon, like between the 4 and 6 o'clock period. So I got back to the outline, and I did the 1-page summary of my plot, and then expanded it into a 4-act structure, which basically took up another 3 or 4 pages. So so that was really good. At this point, I could really see the shape of the story. I could really kind of get my head around what was going to have to happen in general in the story. It suggested I had to make a few tweaks to some characters and their roles and motivation, which I did in the evening after we had dinner. Sunday, I'd like to claim that I spent some more time on it on Sunday, but in truth, we came home from church around 11, had an early lunch, and then laid down for a nap that lasted for over 2 hours. Just because, again, we were tired. I finally did drag my brain out of dreamland and forced myself to go outside. It was a beautiful day. It was like in the mid-80s and sun shining. And we've got the last of the produce coming in now from the fall plants I planted a couple months ago. We're harvesting cucumbers, eggplants, and green peppers right now. And they're all producing quite a bit. So getting the last of it for the year. Although, given our weather forecast for at least the next few weeks, these things are going to keep producing well, probably into November easily. So that'll be pretty good. Toward evening, I sat down and started sketching out scenes based on that 4-page plot summary that I had done. And I started with Act 1 and Act 2A because I'm doing a 4-act structure. And I decided that I wanted to shoot for probably about 10 scenes per act. So I want to get somewhere between 40 and 50 chapters in this, so that I would have somewhere between maybe 60 or 70,000 words. And again, some may be combined into other chapter to a chapter. We'll just have to wait and see how turned out. But that went pretty well. I was actually kind of surprised. And I think it was because, as opposed to some of the other times when I've tried plotting, where I've just tried to do it linearly, and I just started to kind of try to work my way through 1 through 10. I basically already had a roadmap of where Act 1 had to go. So it was just a matter of just kind of, how do I want to break it up and what kind of detail do I want to put in? And when I say detail, it's not much detail. The scene descriptions I have right now are basically just a few lines. And I don't know if I wrote it down here or not, but it's basically just, what's the point of view? What's the motivation of the character? What do I want to come out of this scene to be able to go into the next scene with? So it's just a lot of that. How is the action going to rise and fall during the scene? So that's what I did on Sunday. Monday today, I really don't know what got into people, but all of our people were there except for the supervisor, which returned. Wow. Yeah. So I actually, in fact, I say I got to be I only had to be on the public desk for a total of 4 hours. Actually, as it turned out, I was only on the public desk for 2 hours. And I had nothing else to do. So I sat there and I wrote for 6 hours today.
Oh, wait.
And played
for 6 hours.
6 hours, yeah.
Nice.
And I played with the plot. And I actually powered through the initial scene development for Acts 2B through Act 4, the denouement. Which was a lot. It sounds like a lot. Of course, each one was just kind of brief. In the next round, I'm going to start fleshing these out in a little more detail. In fact, I did have time at the end of the day to flesh out scene 1 a bit. I took it from a five line thing to 10 beats, 9 beats for scene 1. And those beats themselves took up almost 2 pages worth of description. So I don't know if this is going to work right through the end, but right now I'm feeling really optimistic that this kind of approach to plotting is going to work for me. And now we're podcasting, and after that I'm going to have a quick dinner and probably play Wingspan again with Tammy, because we're now tied 1-1. She beat me once, I beat her once. We got to do the rubber match. And I guess normal Monday night I might watch the football game tonight, but I can't even with football anymore after this weekend. I mean, the Lions game was such a travesty, and I just have no interest in watching. And I don't even know who's playing tonight. I don't know if it's anybody good or not.
Yeah, it is. Fantasy football always brings me to football on Monday night, regardless of how bad
so who
my
is playing?
Favorite team are. So there's 2 games, unfortunately. I hate when they do this. It's really stupid. Right now, Atlanta and Buffalo. Atlanta's winning 21-7, strangely.
Really?
Okay. And Chicago and Washington, which I think is going to be a fun one, is kicking off here in a couple of minutes. So
okay, nice.
And I've got on my TV in front of me right here, I'm split screen, and I got both of them going. So I'm very excited. Cool. I need a good day out of something. Roma Dunze of the Bears is the guy that we're rooting for tonight, because I have him in 9 of my 16 leagues. So that's the guy we're rooting for. Big fan of him. So anyway, you're go ahead. I was going to say, you're tied 1-1 with her, and you're playing tonight. If you win, does it become a best of 5?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Just curious.
Until we finally get tired of playing the game and we go back to doing puzzles. So. Yeah, there you go. And in terms of running a list of future things to do, nothing really new on there. I'm still going to be trying out that WaveMaker writing program. Once I've gotten this, I'm not doing this outlining process in there. I'm just doing it in Word, and I'll transfer it all, the structure all up there once I get it lined out, and then I'll actually do the prose in that. We'll see how it works.
Okay. All right, for mine, nothing new. Book cover 1.5 is the biggest necessity right now. I'm not going to release it until book 2 is ready, but still I need to get a cover made. I need to figure where I'm going to do it. Probably going to use 100 covers from the credits I bought last year. And the good thing is Black Friday's coming up, and if they do another, buy one for half price, I'll probably buy like 4 or 5 of them. Hopefully that holds me off till the following Black Friday, which I'm hoping they just do it every year. So, let's see. In terms of my addicted to, there is a YouTube channel called Car Pal, CAR space PAL. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. I don't really know what it is, other than it's a person who somehow, I'm going to think that he uses AI, but he creates these scenarios, these racetrack scenarios, and then he puts all these cars on them, and then basically just the cars just go. They race. The goal is to have them crash and get blown up and have some fun with it. They're about 10 minutes long, and I don't know why. I just can't get enough of watching cars get crashed. I don't know. I'm a red-blooded American male, I guess. I don't get it, but I just sit and watch these cars. Like, they race. He's got speed bumps. He's got all kinds of things to mess them up, and it's a lot of fun. And I've been watching a lot of them the last week. Well, actually, the last couple of weeks, I've been watching a lot of them.
I'll have to take a look at it. It reminds me of my son and his friend when they were really young, like 4, 5, 6 years old. They used to play the NASCAR game. And the whole reason they played it was so they could crash into each other.
I mean, if you don't turn around and go backwards on a car racing game within the first 5 minutes of playing it, you're not playing it right.
That's right.
You just turn around and go the other way. It's the best.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
My Addicted To, in keeping with the bear for hibernation theme, are sweets of all kinds. Just can't leave my hands off of them. Wow. I bought Thursday. I bought a family size pack of Chips Ahoy chocolate chunk cookies, and I finished them off today at work.
Oh, Jesus.
And my wife went on Friday or Saturday grocery shopping, and they were having a sale on ice cream. She bought 4 gallons. So we now have vanilla bean, Rocky Road, mint chocolate chip, and chocolate chip cookie dough. And so yesterday,
that's my favorite.
Since yesterday we had 2 big bowls each, one for lunch, after lunch, and one after dinner.
So I don't eat a lot of ice cream because it does bad things in my throat.
Oh,
but I love ice cream, and I will buy like a cookie dough, a vanilla with cookie dough, and I'll buy Hershey's syrup and pour it on top. And then you get about halfway down, you just stir it all up into a soup. It's so good.
Yeah. I love that too.
Ice cream. Yes. All right. So looking at my schedule for next week, tomorrow I'm in the office all day. Molly May does come tomorrow, so I generally have been going into the office Wednesday, Thursdays, but on the Tuesdays where Molly May comes, I don't like to be here when they're here. It's kind of awkward. I always feel guilty, like I'm standing back here and there's just 2 people up there, 2 strangers cleaning my house, judging me like he could be doing this. He's lazy. But so I don't like to be here. Or
more like you're the master and they're the slaves, and you're just watching.
It's weird. It's 100%. It's just weird. So so even like last month, I had come back from friend of the podcast and friend of me, Brian's house, and he had bought me this big bag of Hershey Reese's eggs, and I love Reese's eggs. So like when I left Tuesday morning for work, I left a Reese's egg on each side of the check for them to just take. It's such a weird feeling that other people do that when I can do it myself. And I pay them, but I just don't like doing it. So, so I will be in the office tomorrow. I will continue editing book 2. And then in the evening tomorrow, no plans. I'll probably play around with my project. Wednesday, or I might play my football game. We'll see. Wednesday, I'm working from home. And speaking of being lazy, and to have paying someone else to do something that I could do, the Canine Paw Spa lady comes with her giant truck, her giant van truck, and she's going to give Max a bath. I'll try to get some editing at lunch done, although, chat with her a little bit while she's here. So who knows how much I'll actually get done. But I should get a little bit done on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm back in the office. I'll continue editing at lunch. Friday, I am working from home, but another half a day. So I'll probably head out, probably back to B-Dubs to get some editing done, eat some chicken wings. Saturday, we have a 7:20 tea time. It's supposed to be a foursome. I texted out to the 2 guys who were supposed to play in the cross country with us Saturday but canceled. Texted them out to let us know that that's our time. We have a foursome. If one of them can't play, I got a buddy who will play. And if both of them can't play, we'll probably end up being a twosome or a threesome. Either way, once I get home, the less people, the earlier I get home. But once I get home, probably head out to Hothead and continue the editing. Sunday, no golf. Panera in the morning. There is a 9:30 game again that I would like to see. It is somebody playing Jacksonville. I think it might be the Rams. I'm not sure. Maybe. I think it is the Rams. I'm really liking the Los Angeles teams, Rich. I like the Chargers. I'm rooting for them. And it's mostly because I have a lot of their fantasy players. And that means I watch them a lot, so I'm going to root for them a lot. And if I can watch teams that actually have professional quarterbacks and professional head coaches and actual offensive lines, if I can watch those teams, although the Chargers, I don't know about that, then I'm going to do that. So I will see how much I do at Panera. Probably be the same situation where I try to do about a chapter or so and then get out of there as soon as possible. Come home, watch football all day, get my grocery order, clean up my house, all that stuff that I do on a Sunday. Monday, a week from today, I will work from home and I will continue my editing at lunch, or I'll take the writing day off. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. The goal, though, I have a concrete goal, is to get halfway finished with book 2's edit. I have 41 chapters, so let's just see if I can get through chapter 21. Right now, I'm about a third of the way through 14. So that's about 7 chapters I'll have to do, maybe just under 7. But I'll have to do in about 5 different writing sessions, including 3 of them that aren't at work, which means they're going to be longer and better to go. So that's my schedule for next week.
Yeah, that sounds doable. I was thinking about this Molly Maid thing, and I went to visit my brother when I was home in Detroit for my mother's birthday a week ago, and he's had his problems, and he's living in an apartment in a senior center. And one of the things, he was really funny. He goes, this place is great. He really loves living there, and the reason why he really loves living there is people cook for him. And people come and clean his apartment.
So, I get that.
So he doesn't have to do any of that stuff.
That's the life right there.
Yeah, exactly. He goes out, he sits in the front on a bench and just, chats with people going by, and, he's only 60. I guess he just turned just turned 63. And, he's like 63 going on 90, but still. It's a perfect place for him. Coming week for me, Tuesday I work from noon to 9 p.m. tomorrow. So in the morning I'm going to spend taking advantage of actually having some daylight hours to be outside and working in the garden. The other real things I have going on right now is I have to start cleaning up, like, taking up, cutting down all the old plant material and composting it and stuff. Other than I do have to start planting my sugar snap peas. Those basically get grown through the winter here. You have a planting right now. I have a planting probably just right around or just after Christmas. Get a couple of crops in on that. And soon I'm going to be roving the streets after work on my way home looking for bagged leaves, because we on a good year, I may bring home 200 to 300 bags of leaves.
Wow!
And we put them through a shredder, and we make compost out of them, which really helps out the plants when they're growing. Once I do get to work tomorrow, I should have plenty of time to work on refining the novel outline that I'm working on. Start doing more scene work, expanding those a little bit. But how far I get really depends on how much patron traffic we're going to have. But I do know for sure for the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be taking on any new library projects unless somebody actually forces me to, because our branch manager, who's been with us all for a year, is actually moving up in administration. She'll be gone within a couple of months. So I don't have to impress her. And I'm going to save whatever ideas I do come up with for the new person that comes in and use them as a guinea pig.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. You've done this before, I think.
Yeah. Just a few times. Wednesday, it's a regular work day, 9 to 6. Nothing special planned. We'll be down one person, so I'm likely to end up on the public desk for a good part of the day. But even so, I can work on these scenes because you can do it in a little short bursts, especially now that I know what's going to be in each scene, what the goals are. I did realize that come November, I'm going to lose a whole week in November during Novel November writing, because I'm going to be gone to my in-laws. So I really have to I'm going to start writing this in the last week of October.
Yeah.
Pretend that's one of November's weeks. So I really want to push ahead and get most of this plot outline done by the next time we talk, so that I'll be able in the last week to start doing some real prose writing. In the evening, of course, we're going to be playing games again, probably. Thursday, it's another normal work day. I do have a Microsoft Office class that I'm supposed to be teaching, but at the moment, nobody's signed up for it. So it may or may not happen. Sometimes people just show up without having signed up, even though it's explicit that you need to sign up before you come, but people never read the fine print. I'll jam in plotting time when I can. But by that time, by Thursday, I should hopefully feel pretty good about how much I've accomplished for the week. And again, game time in the evening. Friday through Sunday, all those days I have off from the library, so I don't have to go to work. On Friday, I've got a little bit more cement to lay. I think I've got another 20 bags or so that I need to put down. Hopefully that won't take... What?
Do you know, I read that just a bit right before you said it, and I thought it was a metaphor. Like, but it's literal cement to lay down.
It's literal.
I was like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. Okay.
I got a 15-foot stretch between our chicken coop and our greenhouse that I haven't laid yet. And my wife made mention of it this morning that, it'd be really nice if we get that laid so I don't have to step in the mud when it rains. So, yeah, I'm going to go do that. I may even start winterizing the greenhouse a little bit by putting some plastic up there. Saturday, I'll be diving into estimating how much material I need to order in order to finish the perimeter fence on the yard. That's a project I started last fall and just kind of putzed around with it through the winter and didn't get it finished and abandoned it basically in mid-spring when it just got too hot to be out there. But that'll be something I have to finish this winter. Sunday, I think I'm going to just call it a day of rest, which may mean some cooking for the week, some game playing with Tammy. I probably won't do anything writing related, although I may get back to doing some reading. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any reading during the week, but I do like that Bird by Bird book by Anne Lamont. I'm going to get back to that at some point. And then Monday, I'm back at the library, and if I have any time off the public desk, especially like I had today, I'm just going to put a wrapper on the outline for the novel November and say it's good, and hopefully just the next week just start writing on it.
Nice.
And I don't really
the way you write, you'll probably get lots of words each week. I mean, you write
I
fast.
would hope so. I was trying to figure it out how many words I would need in order to write the 45 chapters in 4 weeks. And I'm gonna have to be over the 1600 obviously, in order to hit 50 or 60 or 70,000. But it's not going to be too far over. It'd be like 2,000, 2,500 words, something like that.
Yeah,
on average, and I think I can do that. We'll see. We'll see. I don't really have anything to share other than the Indie Writers podcast with James Blatch and Kara Clare was pretty interesting. They had a segment on AI and AI search, which I thought was really fascinating. It kind of lines up with some of the stuff I've been reading on the generalized search optimization that we're going to have to be doing in the world of AI searching. But one of the things that's really actionable right now for me, a lot of it's not because I don't really have the books out there, but I can go around to all the pertinent places and start claiming my author name. So I'm going to try to do that. So I may actually add that to my running list of future things to do. So, go to places where I currently don't have my author name claimed, which would be places like BookBub, and I think I claimed a book funnel, but I'm not sure. I just have to check all that and get myself situated for it.
All right.
Going board.
I have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
Great.
I just kind of made some notes throughout the week here. The first one has to do with that video I sent you. I think it was Thursday night. Right. I was watching football, and I saw there's a woman named Kelsey Humphreys who I just started following in the last few weeks, and she did a video called she did I think came out last Thursday. It's called How to Sell More Books Starting from Zero Fans or Followers. She, if you watch her videos, she'll talk about how she used to be a stand-up comedian. She kind of had a bit of a list anyway from being a stand-up comedian when she decided to write, and then she decided to write with a pen name, which means she was starting from zero.
Right. She
talked in this thing about how she did that. She doesn't have very many followers on Instagram, things like that, but she's got a nice little list, and she talked about the different things. One of the things that she was big on was, and I don't remember her name now, the woman who I saw talk at 20 Books Vegas 2022. What was her name? And one of the things that she talked about was, and she's a romance writer, so a little bit easier for a romance writer, and I really like this, was that I'm scrolling as I talk here to try to find, I have screenshots of when I was there, and I think her name will be on there, but there she is. One thing she talked about was Melanie Harlow was her name. About how to...
Yeah, you talked about that at the time.
Great. She talked about doing like that extra scene to get people on your mailing list. And in a romance, I think you can do it because you get the engagement or the birth or the wedding or whatever it is. You get that. And you can write that scene, put it at the end, get people to sign up to your mailing list to get that scene. This woman was big on it too. This Kelsey Humphreys was big on it too. But there's more to it than just that. It's about a 30-minute video. It's really good. I'll link to it, but I would definitely suggest you go find Kelsey Humphreys and watch her stuff.
Yep.
Watched the video earlier today from a YouTube channel called Book Fox, and like I said in the outline here, not Chris Fox, not Richard Fox. A lot of foxes in the indie writing community. This is Book Fox, and it was called "Stop Writing Boring Scenes. Use this secret 9-step formula." Very similar to what Tim Grahl. Did I get that right? Man, he tweets 700 times a day. You'd think I would know, and I read every one of them because they're all good. Tim Grahl, Tim Grahl, the guy from StoryGrid. Right. Very similar to what him and Sean Coyne talked about when it came to writing scenes. You need conflict, you need this, you need that. It's a really good video. I'm going to actually take some notes on it, and when I go back for my final read through of book 2, I'm going to kind of pay attention to it a little bit as I do it. In terms of how a scene should be constructed, really interesting.
And that's one of the things I'm trying to pay attention to as I start to build out these scenes for my November novel, is I want to start off with a good hook. I want to end with a nice little cliffhanger of some type, and then figure out up front what's going to be a conflict here, how's it going to get resolved, and how's the story going to propel forward. One of the
tips he had, kind of speaking of that, was, and I don't remember the guy's name now, but it was the podcast I listened to, How to Write a Novel. He was based in like Washington. Oh man, I can't remember his name. I don't listen to the podcast anymore. I don't know why I stopped. I think it's because I changed phones and just never got back to all my podcasts. I bought one of his books. It's called, I haven't read it yet, but I bought it. Oh, it's James Thayer. Jim Thayer was he did that podcast, and he used to talk about this a lot too. He says start late and end early, meaning start it just as the action is starting. Don't dilly dally for 500 words before you get to the actual hook or the action, which I know I've done in book 2. I already know I have. I have to figure out how to get around that. But then end early, meaning as you're getting to that climax, maybe you end just before the end of the climax and you get people to the next chapter, that kind of thing. But it's a really good video. I just watched it just before we started. I was watching it, and I'll link to it again. It's Book Fox. It's a good channel. Book Fox is a good one.
I think the important part when writing scenes, or more importantly chapters probably, is that you don't want to have every chapter have the same structure. You don't want to be cookie cutter, because because readers will pick up on that really quick. So you got to find a way to mix it up a little bit somehow.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. And that I know it probably means more than just number of words in the chapter, but I think there's something to that where you've got 500 words in this chapter, then 1,500, because it feels like it ends there, bam. It's like a quick ending. You're on to the next one. I think could be part of it, but and I know it's more than just word count, but that's the first thing that popped into my head. Item 3 of 4 that I have to talk about in this section is my secret project. So I'm going to start out saying these following 5 words. I've decided to build and that is something that I say a lot, Rich. And most of the time, I do not finish these things. And I am not ashamed of that. I'm actually kind of proud of it. I tell the story of when I first started writing back in 2017. A friend of mine, we were at a poker game. We were in somebody's basement. We were getting ready to play a poker game, and I was tweeting about it. I was tweeting the number of words I wrote, something like that. Well, a guy who follows me on Twitter asked me about it. I was talking about it. So my one buddy said to me something to the effect of, "This is going to be another one of those things that you start and don't finish." And I took that as an insult at first, but very quickly I was like, why shouldn't I start a whole bunch of things? Because eventually, like the writing is one of them, I'll find something I like to do. If you're not starting things because you're afraid you're not going to finish, you're just going to be bored the rest of your life.
Hey, you're just a classic entrepreneur. You want to fail fast if you're going to fail. So
exactly. I want to know that I'm not going to do it.
Right. Quick. Move on to the next thing.
100%. So with that, let's talk about my writing process real quick. And I mean, what from start to finish I do to write a book. Okay, this is what I do. I have an idea in my head, and I'll give you an example. I was sitting in Chick-fil-A a couple of months ago on a Saturday morning. I was watching to my right, as I'm writing, to my right, I can see there's a woman there interviewing a high school girl. I may have talked about this before, I don't remember. So she's interviewing a high school girl, and she's asked her all the questions you asked her in an interview, and finally she says, well, they give me authority to hire right now if I want to hire right now, and I want to hire. Are you interested? The girl's like, yes. Okay, I'm going to go get you a pair of pants, take them home, try them on, and we'll get a schedule together. Okay, so the employee walks away, and I swear out of the corner of my eye, I saw the high school girl do this. Which is the evil, and for people that are listening, it's the evil, like rubbing your hands together, like, ooh, I got to play in, I got in, And in my head, immediately I thought, okay, she needed to get hired here. She's going to get revenge on someone. There's going to be a murder. First thing that came to mind. That's how I come up with a plot. It just pops into my head based on what I'm seeing. My mind always go to murder. I watch true crime shows all the time, so my mind goes to that stuff pretty quick. So that's my plot. Then what I do is I go to ChatGPT and I say, I have an idea for a plot. I'm going to give it to you. You expand it for me, and we'll see where we can take it. So then I start talking back and forth with ChatGPT. And as we've said on this podcast 1,000 times, ChatGPT gives the worst answers about 90% of the time, 80% of the time. But what it does do is it gets my brain going. I'll read 10 suggestions, and then it'll go, and I'll go, ooh, I don't like those. Give me 10 more. And then I'll go, ooh, I like that number 3, but let's change it to this, and this. And then ChatGPT does one of the best things that ChatGPT does. It types everything out for me. It's a stenographer. And I can copy that and paste it into Word and then just edit it. I don't have to type the whole thing out. I have it now. I can edit it. And then I paste it back into ChatGPT and say, here's what we got. Let's keep going. So this is my plotting process. And by the time I'm done, I've got a list of characters. I've got 27 chapters. I've got a little paragraph for each chapter. I've got a midpoint, a pinch point, I got a climax, a beginning. Like I'm good. I'm feeling good. That's the plotting process. Then I take that and I put it all into Scrivener. So I have a template that has a character list, a plot summary, 27 chapters. All the chapters are labeled where they fit in the 3-act structure. I just make a copy of that, rename it the book name, and I slowly paste everything in from the Google Doc. Then I go in and write it. And then as I'm writing it, after I'm done writing it, I go through and I make a story grid. That's another thing that I do. I have a story grid I have a Google spreadsheet that I have a story grid in. So I start making a story grid. Then I go through and edit it. And as I'm editing it, I'm either asking ChatGPT for better ways to say things. I'm looking at my Emotion Thesaurus. There's a site Lindsay showed me many years ago called Word Hippo. That's a great thesaurus. I'm there. And then I'm pasting it into ProWritingAid and or Grammarly, formatting it or doing a final edit. And then I go into Atticus where I paste it, and that's where I format it. And boom, I'm done. And then I send it to an editor who gives me a story Bible. That's, and that's not even counting sending it to C and all that stuff. I'm talking about what I do. She sends me back a Word document with a story Bible. That I have all that stuff. So I was thinking last week, I was working last Thursday, and as I'm just doing whatever I'm doing, in my head, I'm thinking, what can I do with this? She sent me a Word doc. It's like 20 pages. It's got all the story Bible stuff. How can I use that? I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll use ChatGPT to help me write a program that I can plug it in, plug all that information. I'll manually copy it. I don't care. I'll copy it in there. And then I'll build a little AI section that uses Open Router and your tokens. And it allows me to then query that app about my characters, my plot, all the things that you can do. And this is a great idea. So I come home that night. We podcast. After we podcast, I have my laptop on the couch and I go back to ChatGPT. I'm like, what if I want to use this to write also? What if I want this to be and what if I wanted to use the plot? And can you create me a story grid? And can I format with you too? Like I've got a design document that ChatGPT built for me that's like pages long. And then I started working on it. And I have the story Bible section just about done. Like the only reason I knew I could do this was because of how quick I built that draft program for my fantasy league. I got it like 95% done in like 4 weeks. And I thought, I bet I can build this. And I bet I can plot inside of it the way that I plot. I love Plotter. Plotter's great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a timeline person when it comes to plotting. I like just having paragraphs.
Yeah.
Chapter 1 heading and then a paragraph. Chapter 2, and then I have a list of characters, description, how they fit in the story. All that. So I just like having so why can't I build a blank screen where I can type, have an AI thing off to the right side, like a little panel where I can talk and then things go back and forth, either automatically or I copy them. It doesn't matter to me. And then once I plot, I write. I have a writing section. Once I'm done writing, I have a story grid that's automatically generated based on my chapters, and AI can go through and fill in a lot of the blanks for me. Why can't I format in it? You know what I mean? Like I have this whole thing in mind that I want to do, and I'm going to try to do it, and we're going to see how this goes. I'm calling it right now. I'm tentatively calling it. I'm calling it the card catalog. I love the idea of a library being like, I have a librarian. She's my AI. I named her Rose. She's AI Rose. I named her after one of my favorite characters in the Golden Girls. She's in my top 4. And so I have a librarian. So you're not asking your AI, you're asking Rose, can you find this for me, Rose? Yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of fun right now. Will I finish it? I don't know. This is gigantic. So who knows? Right. But I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. And we'll see how far I get with it. But I will say that after 3 days, I have the story Bible section just about done. I have to build the AI into it. That's what I'm doing now. So
that sounds pretty neat. I was listening to a podcast a few days ago, and I'm trying to remember what podcast it was, and I can't because I listened to too many of them. But the guy was saying that he does all his writing. He doesn't use Scrivener. He doesn't use Word. He uses ChatGPT. He just writes. Really? He writes within ChatGPT, and the reason for that is, as he's going along writing, it's very easy if he forgets exactly what happened earlier, and it's going to impinge what he's writing now. It's easy to ask, okay, what happened back so and so, and you can, and you can build on your story yourself using your own brain power, but you don't have to keep up there in your head everything that's already happened in this story.
And it's really easy to query it,
right?
If you forgot something or you missed something. So think of this: what I'm doing is basically a combination of Scrivener, Novel Crafter, my story grid Google spreadsheet, and Atticus. That's kind of where I am with it right now. It's kind of a mixture of all those things.
Most importantly, it's constructed and structured in a way that makes sense to you. It's not a generalized program for everybody. It's specific to the way in which you work.
Yes. Now, let's say it works well, and I want to offer it up with a username and a password so that somebody else can use it and do their own thing. I think that can happen too.
Yeah.
So,
well, because given the size, the number of writers out there's going to be many people who work just like you do.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But the problem with that I've always found with things like Plotter, especially, is that it's structured as a generalized tool that you basically have to reconform your process in order to fit. As opposed to you're doing it the other way around, which I like the idea.
Well, I like Plotter. I like Plotter a lot. I kind of, it reminds me of what I did on my bulletin board over here the first time I did it. I just don't like that I have to copy from one app to another app to another app. And it's like, I can probably integrate these under one thing and use some combination of automation along with the AI to move things from one process to the next.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I'm thinking. So, so I love it. I'm excited by this, again, I don't know whether or not I'll ever finish it, but I'm definitely going to have fun doing it. That's one thing about programming that I love is the fun of, even if, don't get me wrong, I know the AI is building this piece by piece. There's no way an AI is ready to take my job. It's not far off, but at this moment, you still have to know how to be a programmer. You have to know how to put code in a certain spot to build it. You have to know how to debug code when you want to change it up a little bit, but don't want to ask the AI. It's still, and so the AI is doing a lot of this, but copying it in there, making little changes, then running it and seeing the changes is my favorite thing about programming. It's my favorite thing forever about programming, seeing that thing actually built. So that's item number 3. That's the secret project. We'll see how far I get. I have no faith that I'll finish it, but you never know. I didn't think I'd finish a book either, but I did. So yeah. All right, let's talk about number 4. Let's talk about, let's get into a little bit of whining and my needs here. I have not told anybody this yet, except for a friend of mine and my parents. I'm probably done with my writer's club. I'm probably out.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody from the club listens. I know Michaela has listened in the past, and if she is, this will be the first time she hears this. I did not go Thursday. All I posted in the Facebook group was I won't be there tonight. It's weird living across the street from the Writers Club because they just see my car over here and know that I'm home. I used to, my last 2 years of college, I used to skip a lot of classes and I would feel guilty during the time the class was. If the class was 1 to 150, I'd feel a little bit guilty during that time. I felt a little bit guilty. I was working on the secret project. I was playing my football game. It's not, man, I don't want to get too in depth. I know there are people listening who may or may not, who may want to get into one of these or are in one. So I'm going to be honest here, but I don't want to be negative. But the reason I'm leaving is negative. I mean, there's a reason that I'm probably not going back. There's a chance I go back, but the problem that I'm having with it is it's not what it was. It's not a bunch of people who are writing, who are thinking about publishing, who are happy reading their stuff and also happy critiquing other people. There's really only one person who does really good critiquing in there, or critiques really well, however you say that, in there, and that's Mallory, who runs it. Like she doesn't write anymore. She hasn't brought anything in years, which bugs me a little bit because she's really, really good. But she'll listen. She has a really great background on stuff that she's read, different genres. So she will listen and she will be honest with you. She'll critique you. She'll tell you when things are good or bad. And I love that. And about 6 months ago, Jake left. He's not with us anymore. He moved out of state, so he's not here anymore. He was really good at it, and him and Mallory together were great because they have a bit of a different perspective, but they also have some overlapping things. So they were great at critiquing, and they were never afraid to tell you what they thought, and it's great. And that early on in my time there, it really, really helped me a lot. There's another guy there who was another one who was great at it, but lately and by lately I mean the last couple of years, he doesn't really critique anymore. And I think when Jake left, it made it worse. He basically just tells me what my grammar errors are and then says, that was great. Can't wait to hear next month. And it's like, that doesn't help me, dude. I have an editor to take care of the grammar. Tell me what you thought of the story, character, that kind of thing. And it's always just, can't wait to hear, wait till next time. And then there are other people. Michaela's a fantastic writer. It's just so good. I hope she does well. She's the one I exchange emails with back and forth about self-publishing. And I know what, if she still wants to get some help, I'm happy to be there for her if she wants it. But, you know, there are more people there now who are, it's more of a social gathering for them. They take us off on tangents all the time. There's not much. Half the time it's just a couple of us that read. Most people don't bring stuff in. And, you know, you hand out these pages to everybody and you don't get them back. Nobody critiques it and gives it back to you. Right. I don't like that. I do all mine there on the spot. Like as they're reading, I'm just underlining stuff that I'm going to talk about. And then once they're done reading and it's my turn, I go through everything and then I take notes and I give it back to them before I even leave. Like I try to do it and nobody does that. And it's just, I don't think I'm getting out of it what I used to get out of it.
Well, you know, it sounds like a very natural thing happened is you just outgrew it. I mean, you've written 9 books now, at least the first drafts of 9 books. You know, you've kind of outgrown the need to have that kind of attaboys in order to feel like you're writing okay. You know,
I don't know about that. I think it's more that I'm not getting the same kind of like.
Well, that could be too. Yeah, you're not getting the same feel. Right.
The effort isn't there from some people to actually do the critiquing that they used to do.
Yeah, the group changed.
Yeah, the group has changed a lot. I mean, Jake leaving was just rough because him and Mallory together were perfect in terms of like, I would just sit and talk to those two about and get their opinions back because they really were good they were good. Mallory works at the library. She reads, you know, she's got a history going back. Jake's the same way. It's great. And it's just not there anymore. And it disappoints me. I feel like I'm breaking up a long-term relationship, 7-year relationship because my needs aren't being met anymore. It's so pathetic, but it's true.
You're John Lennon is what you're saying, right?
Am I? I don't know.
You're breaking up the band.
I hope not. Yeah. So I'm what I really would like, and I don't know if this exists. Maybe I'm just making this up in a dream world, but what I would really like is I would like to find an actual organization that I'd be happy to pay dues to know that everyone is serious about it. That everyone is serious. They don't have to be serious about getting published, but about the actual writing. Like they're in to the writing. They're in for the critiquing. Again, like I said, there are people there who they just go to talk. They're not bringing anything. There was a guy who used to come in, Alex. Alex is great. Alex is the one who 8-9 months ago I told, dude, you have to shut up while we're critiquing you. You have to be quiet so don't defend yourself. You can't defend yourself to your readers. Don't defend yourself. Let us talk. Yeah. And then he didn't come back for a couple of months. But then when he came back, he came back eventually, you could tell every single time his writing was getting better. He was trying hard and he was doing well. Well, he hasn't been back in 3 or 4 or 5 months. I don't know where he's at. He was writing a Star Wars thing that I really like. And he's not back either. It's gotten a little bit too poetry centric for me. I don't really care about poetry. I do my best to critique it, but I don't really like poetry. So I'm not going to go back. I'm going to look around. I don't know what exists out there. If there's something like an Ohio one or a Northeast Ohio one or a Trump County one, something I can find.
I bet there's half a dozen in the Cleveland area alone. I mean,
there are.
Yeah, just something you would have to tag on to going home from work to. or something.
Right. See, that's the thing. For me, this is the problem. It's like when I eat food, it's super picky. I can't do it on a Saturday morning because in the summer I'm going to golf.
Right.
I can't do it on a Tuesday night because in the summer I'm going to golf. Jesus. So there's got to be it's like leaving from work on a Thursday and stopping at a group every week. Or every once a month or twice. That'd be perfect because that would work out. Because I always go to work on Thursday, so coming home and doing that would be perfect. Maybe on a Saturday afternoon, like 1-2 o'clock.
Right.
Cut into my writing time, but still, that would be perfect too. So I got to find a group that I can be a part of that, where there's more participation is what I feel like.
Yeah.
And right now there's not as much as there's still, don't get me wrong. People bring stuff in. I don't believe that, I know 2 of them are at least trying to publish. The third one, he's just rewriting the same thing over and over again, which is fine. And then nobody else brings anything in. It's just, it's gross. So anyway, that's kind of my whininess. I just need a change. I feel terrible because I like these people. They're friends. I consider them friends. And I feel like I'm like walking out. I told my one friend about this last week on Thursday, and she said, well, they need you. And I'm like, what about, I need them, and I'm not getting them. So
yeah, I mean, they're not really your friends. They're your acquaintances.
Some of them I would say are friends.
If you only meet up with them once a month, those aren't friends.
Well, when Jake was around, we would go play Dungeons and Dragons at his house. We went to movies. We saw Rogue One and we saw Ready Player One. Like we go to movies, like all that stuff. Okay. And but since again, him leaving is kind of like I don't want to say final straw. That's wrong. That's too dramatic. But him leaving is kind of like the thing where it just changed for me in terms of that group. So yeah. But anyways, that's the right term.
I hope you find something, and I hope it's on that drive between where you live and where you work.
That would be nice. That would be nice. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Although I would do like a Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I would do that too. There is one that I know of. But the only thing I don't like about theirs is on their website, they said something to the effect of, we get together, we write, and then you can pair up for critique. So it's like you get with somebody else, you read to them, they read to you. I like the group aspect better. So I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of people, and that's why they can't do it. So I'm not sure. But anyway, so that is all I have to share.
Yep. Well, hopefully you'll find something.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So that is going to be it for the podcast. Wow, we went a lot longer than I thought we would because I babbled at the end. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
No, I can't think of anything right offhand.
All right, I don't have anything else either. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. The website is jerryevanoff.com. I am going to start looking into on the website over the next month or two the stuff that James Blatch was talking about in terms of setting up your website to be what's the term? Not SEO, GEO. Wait, what is the term?
I think they call it GSO or GSE.
GSO, yeah.
Yeah,
so
generalized search. Yeah.
Yeah, the AI is eventually going to take over and be the search, and you want the AI to be ready for like that natural conversation instead of just keywords. So, yeah. And then you can find us other places, but that's good enough for now.
And my email address, if you want to chat, is rich@richcasey.com. And I can still be found on Blue Sky at Casey himself.
All right, everyone. That is going to be it. We'll talk to you all a week from today. Thanks for listening and watching.
Yeah, have a good week.